Love is a battlefield. Hey everybody, welcome back to Word, weekly passwords to the riddles of our lives. And today the question is love the opposite of freedom? It's Valentine's Day weekend. This is a lot of fun for people. Pain in the butt for others, somewhere in between for many others, especially on COVID. Chocolates and flowers aside, we're going to ask some questions today about the shadow side of love. What happens when you have it or don't have it, when we get enslaved by love? When our personal autonomy, our choices get impacted by whether we do or don't have this thing called love in our lives. I don't just mean the inner love and the love of flowers, let's say, but that thing we call romance, having a significant other or others in our life. Does it impact our freedom? Can it? And if so, how do we balance either way? There's a verse in this week's Torah story that has to do with slavery and with freedom and with love, a rare confluence. So we're going to go there. This is our way of dismantling patriarchy, one word at a time. And this week, join me in the book of Exodus. The parasha is Mishpatim. We are on chapter 21, verse 5, with the story of enslavement, both reality and metaphor. Here we go. There's a guy, he is a Jew, and he's a slave. Back in the Bible, that was reality. It still is the case for many people, unfortunately, today. This guy has been working for his master, and after 7 years, the seventh year, he gets to go free. That is the biblical way to make it a little better. But during the time of his enslavement, this guy has been wed to another slave, a woman, and they have children. When 7 years has come up, he has a choice. Do you stay in slavery with your wife and children, or do you go free as you came in, solo? The guy has to make a decision. Wife, children, enslavement for life, or freedom, solo. A cruel choice. An economic reality, perhaps, a mindset that today we are challenging on so many levels. Because we know this is not just theory. This was the reality of so many African American slaves in this country. This is still the reality of millions of people who are trafficked. And this was certainly the biblical reality that was depicted as both problematic with maybe some solutions of making it better. So in 21:5 in Exodus, the slave says, Ahavti et ishti, I love my wife and my children. He takes his ear and he has it pierced as a permanent, lifelong mark of enslavement. So my question for us as the word is ahavti, I loved. Do we love at the expense of our own freedom? Or do we find ways to both exercise our freedom as humans and exercise our love? Whether you're in a relationship right now or not, whether you are in deep love or not, or in between, how does loving and being free come into contact when it's in conflict? Can we find ways of being as loving as we can and be the helpful people we can to bring more freedom to ourselves and to others? On this weekend, when there are so many questions in the air about living the life we want to live and finding the love we need, even as we're in quarantine, fighting for health and healing for all, I want to suggest that the shadow side of love and life is that there is a conflict. And the sweet spot is where we are able to look ourselves in the eye, because self-love is all there is, and find the ways that make us freer and lessen enslavement for ourselves and for others as best as we can. Bob Dylan, remember that dude? Said it this way. A hero is someone who understands the responsibility that comes with freedom. So, Shabbat Shalom. Happy Lunar New Year and a new moon. Valentine's Day for those celebrating. Let's find the ways to be as free as we can, both and. See you next week for another word. Dismantling patriarchy one word at a time with the passwords to the riddles of our lives. See you next week.